During your Summer Nature Wellbeing Experience here at Heligan, we've invited you to engage with a variety of activities. One in particular was to invite you to study in more detail the structure of some of the flowers as you pass by. Now, the reason behind this invitation is all on fractals. Now, fractals were discovered in 1975 by a Polish-born maverick mathematician, Mandelbrot. Fractals are abundant in nature. You can find them in pine cones, peacock feathers, Romanesco broccoli, clouds, sand dunes, and so on. And a fractal object essentially is an object that features a recurring pattern that becomes more and more finer in detail, and it basically produces these objects that have visual complexity. Now, there's some evidence from Professor Taylor and his team that suggests looking at fractals has a positive effect on our neurophysiology and can positively enhance our well-being through reducing our stress levels. As you begin your journey at Heligan this summer for your wellbeing experience, you'll notice that what's so profound as you step into the landscape here is the extraordinary variety of tree life. And what's really special about Heligan and the landscape is the history that lies in those trees. Heligan has an abundance of ancient trees in particular, and that's really something to celebrate and notice. So as you walk and journey through, we really encourage you and invite you to notice, pause, observe, and even hug a tree if that feels something that you would feel comfortable to do. Now, there is a reason behind this invitation, and that's very much founded on the work of pioneer Dr. Quinn Lee and his team in Japan. They do fantastic work around the Japanese art of forest bathing, or Shinrin-yoku, that you may be familiar with. Now, there's science emerging in this field that demonstrates being in the presence of trees or forest bathing has benefits for our health and well-being. And that's been understood to be because trees produce phytoncides. Now, phytoncides are naturally occurring volatile compounds that essentially trees produce to communicate with each other and protect themselves. Phytoncides, in some of the scientific studies, have suggested to have an effect on our natural killer cells, so therefore boosting our immune system, reducing our stress levels, reducing our blood pressure, and generally subjectively making us feel better. So enjoy, take in the trees, and let us know which one's your favourite. In our modern lives and our increasingly technology dependent world, it's not uncommon to spend a significant amount of time on screens. So I'm encouraging you this summer, as you visit Heligan for the Wellbeing Nature Experience, to get off your screen and get into the green. Professor David Strayer from the University of Utah is doing some fantastic work using EEG monitoring of the human brain. And what he's found is that spending time in nature without technology has this capacity to restore our attention. What happens as we spend lots of time on screens with constant inflow and inboxes of seemingly important but actually irrelevant information is that we become fatigued and saturated. And that's called direct attention fatigue. And what Professor Strayer is finding through his research is that spending some time in green space without your screen, if you can leave it for a moment or just pop it on silent in your pocket, has this ability, which is really encouraging, to restore our ability to focus on the task in hand and be re-energized through nature. And just look at this incredible field behind me, the golden glow of the wonderful wildflowers. And I'm really excited because in summer this will be humming with beautiful butterflies, bees and dragonflies. And that's why we're inviting you to also pause, breathe, just close your eyes and listen. There's some evidence that shows listening to the bird song and the sounds of nature can reduce our stress levels and make us feel better. So take a moment, take in the abundance of colour and sound around you and enjoy. And And it's not just green space that has been shown to benefit our health and well-being. Blue space is also gaining momentum in the literature. There was a groundbreaking study by Dr. Joe Garrett and team that was from Hong Kong, and that showed that people who have a view of blue space report an increased sense of well-being. So just look at this stunning view here, and we encourage you on this walk and journey of nature experience to just take in the views of the blue as you go. We now have an international and established body of sound, rigorous evidence that demonstrates the benefits of physical activity, not only for our physical health, but our mental health and well-being too. We also know that green space and the great outdoors offers the perfect facilitator to moving more. If you combine the two, movement and green space, then you have what we call green exercise. And the evidence suggests that moving in the great outdoors, green exercise, has additional benefits compared to moving indoors. So think of it as going to the gym squared. Here at Heligan, it's all about gardening, and what better place to be to feel inspired about what's possible. In fact, there's a very recent bit of research conducted by the University of Exeter with the Royal Horticultural Society using data collected from Natural England. And this looked at 8,000 participants between 2009 and 2016. And it found that those people who spend time gardening are significantly more likely to report improved psychological well-being, better physical health, and interestingly, people who garden are more likely to meet the physical activity guidelines that are nationally set. But please don't worry if you don't have a garden. Use the experience from Heligan to inspire you as you move back to where you live. One idea that you might want to take forwards is this idea of concept of nurturing something, so sowing a seed of hope for the future. Get a pot, fill it with some compost and pop a seed in, and nurture that into something beautiful as you grow into the future with hope. Enjoy the process.